Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 92 Diaries with your girl, Miss Shards.
And Fihi.
And Juliet.
Today's episode is about the long-awaited, much-needed self-care. Why is it important? What is it? And many other discussions around it. So, Julie, let me start with you. What is self-care to you?
I think self-care is about kind of doing the things that you need to do in order to keep your physical, mental, emotional, financial self
Amen.
afloat. I think a lot of the time it's not something that's talked about in every single one of those sorts of areas, and I think there should be more conversation on it.
Agreed. Fahana, what do you do to self-care?
Girl. Right. Self-care for me is a bit different. I like to come home, get naked.
I knew you were gonna be like, where do I start? I just knew it was gonna be something.
I like to come home, get naked, stroll around my apartment all willy-nilly, put on some anime.
You ain't got that willy. What do you mean?
I said all willy-nilly. I didn't say all willy-willy. All willy-nilly. Maybe I'll put my clothes back on. It might be a bit cold. Got to chill. Sit in front of the TV, watch some anime, do my little face mask. You know, phew.
Wait, face mask?
What's mask?
Mars?
My face mask. My face mask. Not mask. Mask.
A Rubitussin in it.
Rubitussin's good for the chest. Good for the chest. Good for the chest. You got a dry cough, you got a mucus cough, you got a chesty cough, there's a Rubitussin. Anyway. No, all jokes aside, I do quite a few things. So I go gym 3 times a week. I do that at the crack of dawn when nobody else is awake. I like it at that time. It gets me mentally prepared for the day. Tuesdays I go for swimming lessons, so that's been quite good. I find it quite soothing. It's quite relaxing. I normally watch quite a bit of TV. I like keeping up with my TV shows, anime, the odd. You know, quite a few of my TV shows are finished now. Like Game of Thrones was my. I do keep a journal. It's a religious journal where I look at daily verses, whether it be from the Quran or whether it be from the Bible, and just spend a bit of time with God. I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon lately, so I won't fully claim that I'm doing it at the moment. But that is something that I do like to do, and it just helps me unwind for the day. Yeah, I get my hair done every 2 weeks because I like getting my hair did and it made me feel good. You know, I get my I book in my waxing appointments on time, my threading appointments on time. I'm doing it all. And, you know, every once in a while, if I've got a little bit of extra money, I will do a bit of online shopping because I want to look good. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. So, you know, don't allow anyone to make you feel guilty about a little bit of self-care. You get what I'm saying?
Honey. Amen.
But that's literally that, and that sounds like a lot, but to me it's not a lot. In fact, there's more I would like to do for myself. But
and there's more she does do that she doesn't mention. So like eating right, weighing food, getting your macronutrients on check. You know, both her and Julie are really good at it, and I am taking some notes. I'm taking notes. I'm trying.
Yeah, we're learning ourselves.
Oh yeah, no, it's a learning process, but you know, I know people think self-care might just be about the physical, but make sure, most importantly, you are taking care of the internal, which is, you know, your emotional needs, your mental needs, and you know, your religious needs as well, because you can't get nowhere in this world if you don't spend no time with God. So make sure you're spending time with God, because ain't nothing gonna happen in this life for you if you don't spend no time with God. Let me tell you that now.
Amen. Not in the right way, that's the friend. Amen. Julie, how do you self-care?
Wow, this is a back and forth between us two. Are you not interviewing us yet? Okay. Anyway,
I'm just trying to take notes. I'm taking notes.
The Daily Show with Chards.
Soon come.
I think.
I actually think that'd be quite good.
Chats with Shards? Wait, hold on, wait.
That exists.
No, for real.
Tune in.
It'll be a bit like Wendy Williams. You'd be like, how you doing? But you wouldn't be like, how you doing?
I feel like the wine glass, I feel like it needs to come into, no, I don't know. Chardonnay with Shards? Chardonnay with Shards?
Interesting.
Shard never shard. You know.
I love it. We're getting off subject. Back to your self-care.
But
But yeah,
that's
shove,
that's
shove.
okay. You know what? I feel like part of my self-care routine is not only like celebrating myself. I love celebrating my friends, but sometimes I don't always do that for myself. And I think it was my friend Ashley who's got me on this. Ashley, you know, she got thoughts on my podcast, just saying. Anyway, so Ashley is constantly talking about how important it is to make sure you're definitely like affirming yourself often. So I've been practicing that a lot, especially in the past year or so, and I have never been in a better headspace. Not just because of trying to affirm myself more, but I guess telling myself often that I deserve to have good people in my life. I deserve to have good things. I deserve to have great things done for me or done to me and stuff like that. That sounds a bit weird actually. Done to me.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oops. Didn't mean like that. No.
That's that's a shard name.
Mate, you're the one that's spilling your own tea.
Okay, you know what? But yeah, self-care. I work out. I go gym.
Yeah.
I try
Exercise. Huh? What?
Can we just concentrate?
I coughed on air. Like,
Okay, my time wrong. Oh no. I'm meant to be wholesome.
and everything about what was just said was wholesome, fam.
It was truly wholesome.
Oh, you know what? Shards, yeah.
Collectively, I work out. You were saying.
If that's not hickey hagger, I don't know what is. If that's not hickey hagger, I don't know what is.
Oh my gosh.
Look, okay, guys. Look, I do make quite an effort to make sure that I am, what's it called, staying away from things that make me feel uncomfortable or unhappy, and I'm trying to get better at communicating with people on things that make me uncomfortable or unhappy as well. So, and I try to be quite protective of my peace. When I have my peace, that's the end of it. I will, if you guys want to argue, that's cool. I will sit there and make it awkward so you have to stop arguing because I'm just here for it. Like I'm not here to have confusing energy about me. Bad things are going to happen, granted, but I feel like if you have an opportunity to leave a situation that has nothing to do with you, but it's still causing you stress, leave. It ain't got nothing to do with you, and you will sleep better for it. That's
I like it.
That's good. I do like that. I like your methods of self-care. I think one thing that I am trying to adapt, and I think I used to have a very, very, really religious and really good method of self-care. I used to go to work, come back, go to the gym after my gym session, in which I used to kind of like unwind from the day, go to a sauna, and in sauna I used to meditate. As well, so it was my thinking space, as well as detoxing all the toxins from my body. It was like really getting rid of all like bad thoughts and thinking about how I can achieve the next stage and how I can overcome this and what's my next plan of action. It was really a me thinking time, and I used to do that literally religiously. I had a good diet at the time as well. I feel like now that things have changed in terms of my schedule, I don't have such a permanent schedule anymore. It has stopped and it has, I've come away from that routine, which isn't particularly helpful. However, you are going to come off, you're going to fall off sometimes and you're going to get back on the wagon. But the main thing is that making sure you get back on the wagon. And if you do, then you can adapt methods. So whether your schedule changes, whether your lifestyle changes, whether the commitments in your life changes, whether your surroundings change, you can always find a way back and improve what you once did. So now, though my schedule is very higgy-hagger, I still try to take some time out to do some exercise, whether it's in the house or outside. If I don't get to do that, I will kind of try to do that maybe later in the week or allocate some sort of time within the week to that, or just have a mental space. And that's like taking some time to like meditate or reflect on. And that sometimes maybe in my drive, because my schedule is now so busy, I have to squash quite a few things together, and it's not like you can just kind of have allocated times to things and places that you do them. Sometimes you do have to merge them. So I kind of take long drives to work. Sometimes it's about between half an hour and an hour and a half, my drives can be to work. So I use that time to meditate, that time to reflect. Sometimes most times I listen to sermons or gospel music during that time, and I feel like that also gives me a reflective space. Where I can think about my own life and me as a person. And then quieter times at work, I can think about sort of like my next mode of action, or what I'm doing next. I think eating right is a very, very, very massive part of self-care, not just in terms of the weight part, but in terms of making sure you're getting the right nutrients, making sure that you are getting the right amount of energy from your food, as well as sleep. Eating right and
sleep. Amen.
Oh, how could I forget about something so basic yet so I need
Nah,
it?
sleep is crucial.
I'm like the worst morning person ever in the
That
history
queen
of
out
morning
here.
people. I love sleep so much. I bought the book Why Do We Sleep? I mean, no word of a lie. I'll whip the book out now. It's in the boxes. I'm not joking.
No, it's true though, because you know what? A lot of people be like, sleep is for the weak. It's you that is weak. That's why the bags are under your eyes. That's why you are constantly moody. That's why you're constantly suffering. That's why you're always sick.
I
because
hate
you're
that
sleeping.
saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead, because you're
You
dead.
will die. You will die.
Dead.
You will die. That's it.
Sleep is for the dead. Yeah, keep bringing it on.
That's why rich people have nice beds, because they can afford to sleep.
Mate,
They are
I'm not
wealthy
joking.
and they invest in their sleep.
I spent nearly £700 on my bed.
That's a lie. Rich people can't sleep because you're thinking about all the money that you have to protect.
Oh.
You don't sleep when you're rich.
That's paranoia, bruv. That's like sleeping with the money under the pillow, eyes wide open at night. Like
No.
But you're
Let's be
worried
rude.
about staying rich. Nah, you don't. Rich people don't sleep,
No.
fam. You're worried about staying rich. Your
Listen,
next
sis.
investment, or how to protect
No.
what you already
Rich
have.
people be sleeping. You know why? They employing 10 million assistants to be doing the work for them. So they're sleeping. They are enjoying their sleep. If you read Tim Ferriss, the 4-hour work week, them lot are making time to constantly be on holiday, living their best life. Yes, they are making money. Yes, they are working hard, but they are sleeping, because sleep is essential. Okay.
It's crucial. Anyway, sleep is obviously very important. And I think the consensus in this room is
I feel like we should change the name of this episode and call it "Why Do I Love Sleep?" And I'll tell you why.
And self-care and sleep.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. For me, if you leave me alone with no disturbance, I will sleep hands down 12 hours.
I know
Like
about that.
shit, like just out like a light. If I am not used to 6-hour wake ups or short hours, if I start to sleep longer and longer and have an 8-hour, 9-hour, 10-hour, if you on a normal day, if you leave me alone with no disruptions, no phone, no alarm, no outside noises, people mowing their goddamn lawns and shit like that, I will sleep for 12 hours calm. But yeah, sleep is massive. And you feel so much better for it. Like them ones, I don't know if y'all have ever done a 16-hour shift, but if you do ever work a 16-hour shift and you have actually slept 8 hours, it makes a massive difference to when you have slept 5. Massively. That whole shift is a different page completely. But yeah, so in terms of that, I am trying to create more of a routine, which I am working on, because, as I said, my lifestyle has been quite up and down. It does change, but trying to work on a routine that does work for me and my schedule, to be able to get those essential things, that is the right food, the right amount of sleep, some form of exercise, because it is stimulating, even if it is exercise, all of them things there.
Wait. You think
What?
You spilled your own tea.
Food,
what
as I say, so right food,
what
right
You
sleep,
spilled your own coffee.
meditation is very important.
No.
You spilled your own Lucozade.
Is very, very vital.
What's
So,
that?
Your Chardonnay's on the floor.
the importance
Oh,
of self-care. What do you guys feel like the importance of self-care is?
all of a sudden I can't hear.
Was it the wine spillage? And it's red wine.
You need me to drain your ears.
Red wine stain.
Wow.
Okay, whilst Julie corrects her hearing aid, let me address Moana.
That wine is soaking into the carpet. We don't even have any vanish. It's soaking in. It's drying up. It's drying up. It's drying up.
Mm-mm-mm.
No one's even getting a cloth. No one's dabbing at it.
Mate.
It's gone.
Importance of self-care.
To be honest, I feel like a lot of the time when we talk about self-care, there's been a lot more awareness around mental health issues and stuff, and that is fantastic. But I think it's important that people allow themselves to actually experience the breadth of their emotions and begin to develop the self-awareness to kind of realize when things are normal for them and when things are not going so well. So if we're talking about our emotional self-care, or not even our emotional self-care, maybe just our our mental well-being self-care in general, I think it's important that you allow yourself to be human. You allow yourself to kind of feel things when they happen and then learn to let that go. If you are constantly feeling a certain type of way when the situation has now ended or is over, or it has gone past the time of being relatively normal to deal with something, don't be afraid to actually ask someone or seek help and actually ask, like, is this normal for me to be experiencing this way? Because I feel like it's like in church when we talk about fellowship, right? And how fellowship is important for you to be able to increase your faith and work towards being closer with God. When it comes to trying to improve your mental well-being, I think it's important that we are in fellowship with other people when it comes to talking about what we want to do when we want to stay well, in order for us to all grow well together. So we can all recognize our shit signs when when shit is hitting the fan, so we can kind of grow through that together. You know what I mean? But that's that's mental well-being, self-care. We can leave the floor for everything else. It's okay.
All right, Miss Psychologist. Sorry, Dr. Psychologist.
Wait,
Psychiatrist?
hopefully. I only got 1 degree, shit.
Soon to be 2.
Oh, girl, stop.
Soon to be 2. Own it. Say with your chest.
That's part of self-care, Julie. Part of self-care. Owning your shares. Owning your shares. That's what I'm going to throw out there. Owning your crap.
She's out here trying to be all humble and shy about it, but like, come on, don't stop the higgy hagger movement. Own it.
No, I'm really going to talk about it. So owning your crap is part of self-care. Like, if you have a bad eating habit, if you have a bad habit in general, drinking, smoking, or I don't know, binge watching TV, when you should sometimes take a break between television and going to bed, or whatever your habit is, or you have a habit of procrastinating, or you have a habit of making a schedule but not keeping to the schedule, whatever it is, I think owning your flaws and owning your bad habits or owning your crap is very, very important in self-care. The only way to kind of overcome it or start to move away from it or empower yourself really in dealing with it is by owning it. So I know that seems like way off and it's kind of like really far-fetched with all the things that we've been discussing, but I think being able to recognize and own your bad parts and your flaws is part of self-care. Then, or in terms of flaws, if you can point out your flaws to yourself and you adapt accountability to it, then when people point it out, it's not much of an issue to you. I think we spoke about this in one of the other episodes, I think, in regards to like when people point out your flaws and things. But if you have reached a certain level of comfortability with it, knowing that it exists, knowing that it's there and owning it, people can't make you feel worse about something that is yours than you already do, if that makes sense. Like, so people, I know like every action causes a reaction, but at the same time, it is your responsibility and it's up to you how you deal with it and how you move on from a situation, whether it's a negative one or a positive one. It is, it's up to you. And part of mental health, part of the mental health aspect is being able to deal with your own shit and dealing with you as a person first and foremost before dealing with other people. You're going to be surrounded by other people, you're going to be surrounded by situations, and they're not all going to float your boat, or they're not all going to be, roses, or smell nice or look nice. But if you can deal with you first, then you can actually start to deal with other people.
Can I also say, like, eating well is self-care. Eating good plantain is self-care. I'm hungry, and there's plantain downstairs that's ripe in it.
Oh my god.
So I just feel
like an innuendo for something.
What?
How?
Where is your mind?
It's just when she was just
No,
like,
no,
yeah,
Cam,
there's-
where is your
she was just
mind?
like, there's plantain downstairs and it's ripe in it. And I was just like,
Wow.
No, where is your
Wow.
mind?
I
Your
don't
mind is in
know.
the,
That
her
was
mind.
I
Like,
was just like,
wow.
Not even banana, plantain. That was far. That was
Like,
far. I don't know.
honestly, sis, I know what kind of well-being you're talking about. You know, I'm talking about, physical well-being. I don't know what kind of physical you're thinking about. But
ripe plantain in it.
you know what?
And I think eat for your body, for yourself. Like I think what you feel good. I know there's like these. We talked about this in a personal conversation between the three of us about sort of body types, endomorphs, mesomorphs,
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. And as healthcare professionals, we are kind of like deliberating the factual evidence behind that and really kind of seeing, does it work, does it not, is it right, is it not, and looking at evidence to support it. We have our own reservations for that, but I think in a larger scale, without those specific categorizations, there is a way to eat for you as an individual. I think you need to learn that, and I think you need to adapt that to your own body and see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So eating right is not just specifically being on a diet or being on another diet that your friend is on because they're losing weight or blah blah blah, or because they're building muscle, blah blah. But you need to kind of eat right for your body, not just your body type, but for your body as well, and give the nutrients that you are lacking and that you need, and etc. I think you get the point. That's some food. Drinking water is important too, guys. Don't be hydrated for God's sake.
Well, let me even finish my glass. Wow. Okay. Are you adding me?
This summer was not
Wow.
even that hot, but we had so many people
I'm
pass out
obsessed
from
with big bottles.
dehydration. Lord, I'm not even going to go into that one. Go back to the facts.
You only missed the joke. It's actually long.
This episode is full of so many innuendos. I don't even know if our listeners are on track with us
You're so inappropriate.
anymore. But yeah, I don't know how you guys.
What is in the air today? What is going on, guys?
From dehydration. How did so many people pass out and were hospitalized from dehydration this summer? It was not even that hot. I'm so sorry. It wasn't. Like we didn't. There's been summers before where we have gone up to 30 to 33. What
It was
was the
37 this summer, babe.
Pardon?
It was 37 this summer.
37.
Yeah.
I didn't see
I'm
that.
sorry. How do people survive in Egypt then? They're not all passing out or being
No, but
hospitalized.
37 in England. Come on, England.
It was 37 in some places.
I wasn't in England. I was in Wales. I never really got to experience it.
And some places in England, predominantly London, in like Suffolk, it didn't get up to 37, but we had massive hospital admissions, and it was like 34, 33.
That's still pretty hot. Like, we're not used to those kind of temperatures.
Hydrate, and you'll be fine.
the moral of the story is drink your goddamn water, okay? Drink it. I don't care if you don't like the taste. It don't have no taste. Drink your water. That's what Charles is trying to say.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And water, for goodness sake. And tea and coffee does not equate to hydration, guys. Actually, tea and coffee, especially coffee, are dehydrating drinks. So if you're trying to calculate your water intake by that, you need to minus a few. Drink some water. Just drink water.
Like, it's got no calories and it's just so refreshing. What more do you want from a fluid? Like, what more do you want?
In conclusion, Fahana, what are your takeaways from self-care?
Oh, jeez.
It's gotta make you feel good. And it's gotta be for your own benefit, even when sometimes what's good for you may not necessarily feel like it's right in that moment. And by that, I mean, like, I had to stop myself from allowing myself to have a TV in my room. I hate it because I don't always like to sleep in the dark. But I have taught myself I'm not afraid of the dark. It's just when you live by yourself and you hear all these noises, shit hits the fan, innit? You get scared. I've seen Paranormal Activity. I've seen Annabelle. I will not be a victim. I will not be a victim. But I used to fall asleep to stuff like Family Guy and it just became habit. Even when I was in uni, Charles, you could advocate. I always my computer was on a lot. So
wow, electricity bill so damn high. I really
yeah,
think we should have gone 2/3 on that, but
yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I feel like I gave you the short straw there. I should have given you the gas, and I should have taken care of the electric. But yeah. So then, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. Goddamn, in the middle of the podcast, I'm like a child.
doing things that are not good for, well,
Yeah.
doing things that are good for you even though they don't feel right at that moment.
I know going to the gym is good for me. A lot of people are like, how do you do it? How do you feel? What's wrong with you waking up at God knows what time? I was like, but I feel so good when I'm there. Do you know what I mean? And it's especially in those moments when you really don't want to go. That's when you have to force yourself to go. You just have to get out the bed and just turn up there. And once you're there, you have no choice but to do something, or else you're like an idiot. So you'll do something. Do you know what I mean? And it's just about self-discipline. And people are just like motivation. But now for me, self-care is a self-discipline because it's not always easy. And like Charles and Juliet have said, it's quite easy to forget to do it. And then, what was the question again?
Your takeaways. Takeaways for self-care.
Right, so you have to discipline yourself. Sometimes do things that you don't want to do. Right, I've said that. I've already said your mentality because you got to be mentally strong. And last but not least, I had it was on the tip of my tongue and now it's gone. God damn. If it comes back to me, I'll leave it in the comments.
Over to Julie.
Just enough of me today.
Wow, the cutoff is actually it's actually been
She has
nice.
had enough of me today. It was the water comment. That's what did it for you. I know.
Basically, the self-care message from Shards is stay savage. But anyway, moving forward, I do think that self-care isn't easy. I think a lot of things that we've talked about, it can be a big change for a lot of people. And I think the first place you can start is start thinking about what is worrying you, what you're not comfortable with, and start there. So if you are someone who is worried about the way you've been feeling, or you've been worrying about possibly the scale, or if you've been worrying about not sleeping, or if you're just not comfortable in the current situation that you're in, write those things down and start thinking about, I guess, practical and helpful ways to kind of get over those things. Everything else will fall into place when the time is right.
Agreed. I've spoken a lot about self-care, and I think obviously it has a massive importance because if you're that kind of person who just keeps going, you have to look at yourself and take a break. Taking a break is massive. And I think for me, I definitely don't do that enough, but I do take myself on holiday once in a while.
A while?
Guilty. I'm not going to feel guilty for that. For the amount of hours that I work, I don't take myself on holiday enough, I must say. I don't give myself a break enough. If it's not a holiday, I don't give myself a break enough. I think that is one thing that is very vital. Even in your work day, regular breaks helps stimulate your mentality and all sorts. So taking a break is absolutely important. Doing the things that you like or enjoy is also important. I think a massive part of self-care is enjoying some of the aspects of your life, because sometimes we don't always enjoy the work that they're in or whatever. They do it for whatever reason. But if you can actually engage in some things, some activities or whatever it is, some parts in your schedule, your day that you do enjoy, then it's something you can look forward to. And that light of happiness, that release of serotonin, is really good for you. So do something you enjoy, and take care of you, because at the end of the day, if you're that kind of person who is just taking care of everybody else, babes, you need to remember that if you ain't there, these people are not going to be taken care of by you at all. So you still have to look out for number one whilst you're out here looking out for number 2, 3, 4, 9,000. You've got to take care of number one. It doesn't mean be selfish, but sometimes it kind of does. But you just kind of have to look out for yourself as well. So please, guys, remember, in everything that you're doing, no matter how busy you are, no matter how rigorous your daily activities are, please make sure you self-care and look out for number one. So important. Well, that brings us to the end of self-care. I'm super excited. loads more information on the internet or in many other chats, because I think it's not the first time, it's not the last time that we'll touch on self-care. We're really, really massive believers of it, because we know how hard it is, not just as women, not just as Black people, not just as human beings that exist today, in our field, in many things that other people can relate to with us. We know that it's very, very difficult to be able to do that, but we're very strong believers of it, because we do believe that it does keep us in sound mind and allow us to continue striving and going for gold, basically. So please join us next time on 92 Diaries. Deuces.
Bye.
Bye.